A massive blaze erupted at a major U.S. oil refinery, deepening tensions as the Iran conflict continues to intensify. Authorities are now investigating claims that Iran may be linked to the devastating fire at the Texas facility. Late-night explosions tore through Valero's massive Texas refinery, leaving the city anxious and on high alert. Reports suggest Iran could now be striking targets within the U.S. mainland, following disputes over new energy policies. Just hours earlier, U.S. President Trump vowed not to target Iran's energy sector despite escalating threats. Soon after, Iran accused the U.S. and Israel of coordinated attacks on its energy sites, lending weight to FBI warnings of possible retaliation. An explosion tore through Valero's Port Arthur refinery in Texas, U.S., on March 23, shaking nearby neighborhoods and prompting a massive response from emergency teams across the region. Within minutes, thick plumes of black smoke and towering orange flames rose high above the Gulf Coast city, casting an eerie glow visible for miles in every direction. Local officials confirmed the blast happened at around 7:22 p.m. local time, saying investigations are underway to determine the exact cause and assess any potential hazards from the incident. The explosion follows recent comments from U.S. President Donald Trump, who publicly warned that Washington might strike Iran's energy hubs if tensions continue to escalate. The ongoing Iran conflict has already intensified the crisis in global oil routes, with the Strait of Hormuz blockade disrupting shipments and affecting worldwide fuel supplies. This mysterious fire at a major U.S. refinery also comes just days after the FBI issued a bulletin alerting security agencies to a potential Iranian drone threat on American territory. The advisory specifically cautioned police departments in California, warning that Iran might retaliate by deploying long-range drones capable of reaching the U.S. West Coast. Reports of that warning quickly reignited worries nationwide about Iran's growing ability to strike the U.S. mainland through unconventional means. Later, federal officials attempted to ease public concern, stating that although the threat was being monitored closely, there was still no indication of an immediate or direct attack. A massive blast at Valero's Port Arthur refinery shattered what had been a calm Texas evening, shaking the city and lighting up the night sky. Residents described a deafening explosion that tore through the diesel processing unit, sending shockwaves that made walls tremble and windows rattle. Authorities issued an immediate shelter-in-place order as thick plumes of dark smoke billowed from the facility, spreading across the Gulf Coast skyline. Videos that quickly surfaced online captured the enormous blaze consuming parts of the Valero Energy refinery, with flames visible from several kilometers away. Within minutes, emergency responders, fire crews, and hazardous material teams descended on the scene, racing to contain the fire and prevent further damage. Officials later confirmed there were no reported injuries and said evacuations had not been ordered, though precautions remained in place. Environmental teams were deployed as well, with continuous air quality testing underway to detect any release of toxic gases or chemicals into surrounding areas. The Valero Refinery employs roughly 770 workers and has the capacity to process hundreds of thousands of barrels of crude oil every day, making it integral to regional energy output. As one of the largest refineries in the United States, it produces essential fuels such as gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, critical supplies for both civilian and industrial sectors. Energy analysts warned that a prolonged shutdown of the facility could severely disrupt fuel distribution across the Gulf Coast and potentially push up prices nationwide. The unexplained explosion comes amid renewed geopolitical tensions, just weeks after former President Trump claimed that Iran was seeking to negotiate peace, 25 days into the ongoing war. Yet only hours after Trump publicly ruled out strikes on Iran's energy network, reports from Tehran described new hits on key gas and infrastructure sites. According to Iran's Fast News agency, explosions damaged a gas management building, a pressure reduction station, and parts of a major pipeline in Isfahan and Khorramshahr. The report noted structural damage to nearby facilities and homes, but confirmed that no casualties had been recorded as of March 24th.
I think Israel will be very happy with what we have. We just spoke to Israel a little while ago. I think they'll be very happy. This will be peace for Israel, long-term peace, guaranteed peace. If this happens, I can't guarantee it, but I think it's going to. My life is a deal. That's all I do is deals, my whole life. I think this is something that's going to happen. And why wouldn't it happen? So tomorrow morning sometime, their time, we were expected to blow up their largest electric generating plants that cost over $10 billion to build. It's a very good one. There was no dearth of money. And one shot, it's gone. it collapses. Why would they want that? So they called. I didn't call. They called. They want to make a deal. And we are very willing to make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. And it's got to be no more wars, no more nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons anymore. They're agreeing to that. Any of that stuff, there's no deal.
You said you're going to get the enriched uranium. How are you going to get the enriched
Well,
uranium? Are you going to send
it's very easy. If we have a deal with them, we're going down and we'll take it ourselves.
But can I ask you, the Treasury lifted sanctions on Iranian oil in 2015. You criticized President Obama for giving Iran $1.7 billion.
Well, I just want to have as much oil in the system as possible.
But Iran is
And
making
we don't even know if Iran gets that money. Frankly, I think it's very hard for them to get it. But you have ships that are out there that are loaded up with oil. Rather than keep it there, I would rather see it go to the system. Any small amount of money that Iran gets is not going to have any difference in this war. But I want to have the system be lubricated.
even $14 billion. Nothing helps them.
Where's the $14 billion?
They're being inflated by, they get $14 billion from the.
I don't think they're getting the money. I could tell you, when this is all over, I will tell you who's getting the money.
So you said there's many points of agreement with Iran right now.
Many.
What, can you give us a
Many,
specific-
like 15 points. 15
So
points.
Iran has said yes.
Well, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. That's number one. That's number 1, 2, and 3. They will never have a nuclear
They
weapon.
said yes to that.
They've agreed to that.
Strait of Hormuz, who's going to be in control of
That'll
that?
be opened very soon if this works.
How soon? And who's in control of it? Will
I mean,
Iran still be able to control the flow of oil?
Be jointly controlled.
By who?
Maybe me.
You want the United States to be in
Me
control?
and the Ayatollah, whoever the Ayatollah is, whoever the next Ayatollah. Look, and there'll also be a form of a very serious form of a regime change. Now, in all fairness, everybody's been killed from the regime. They're really starting off. There's automatically a regime change. So we're dealing with some people that I find to be very reasonable, very solid. The people within know who they are. They're very respected. And maybe one of them will be exactly what we're looking for. Look at Venezuela, how well that's working out. We are doing so well in Venezuela with oil and with the relationship between the president-elect and us. And maybe we find somebody like that.
Are you giving any more options to lower the price of oil while the cost
The price of oil will drop like a rock as soon as the deal is done. I guess it already is today. No, we have a very serious chance of making a deal. That doesn't guarantee anything. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not going to come out here in a week or 2 weeks and have you all say, oh, you said. I didn't say anything. All I'm saying is we are in the throes of a real possibility of making a deal. And I think if I were a betting man, I'd bet for it. But again, I'm not guaranteeing anything. They want to make a deal very badly.